Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back. I am playing along again with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, and today's prompt is to use a sketch. Here is the sketch I chose today. This was actually one from 30 Days of Sketches, Christy's Beautiful Life, Series 21, and it was day 17. And it is created by Nicole Santos. And I actually have three pictures versus two, and I'm actually turning the sketch so the paper that's along the side is actually going to be at the top. So again, this is a page within my December documented album from 2025, and this is an inside flip page. And so I do decide, well, I realize that I can't really use any of the thick papers from 49 to Market, that I think it'll be too thick and it won't uh, stay closed as easy. So I went digging through my vellum, and here you see me kind of playing around with it, whether I can actually attach it to both sides, if I'm going to split it down the middle. And ultimately, I do decide to trim it in half and put each of the pages on each side of the crease there of the page where it closes. So this is my initial design, and then I had this scrap in just this size. However, I do decide to, again, for the same reason, I went with the vellum, that I decide to stick with a thinner piece of paper. So you will see me change this out here in a little bit. And instead of the fishtail banner that Nicole has in her sketch, that I'm going to represent that area with these two tags underneath my photos here. So here's my my idea, that hopefully you can see where the parts of the sketch come from here. I have three 2x3 size photos. It's of my Christmas cactus. So here is where I've dug into my Elizabeth Crafts reminiscence books, and I believe it was the first book and the most recent one. I think book 8 is what it was, had some Christmas papers in it. Honestly, I don't know which book this came out of, because it had already been torn out of the book, and but it was with one of these two most likely. So I start matting my photos here, and then I decide to trim it down because I do need to put two pictures on one side and then one picture on the other side of the fold. And so getting that last picture put on and just trying to make it look as much as like one piece as I possibly can. I have this scrap here also, so I did decide to use that as well. Originally I was going to put it under the photos, but here you can kind of see, and then I was going to have the tags come out from underneath. Then I do change my mind on the design here. So here I know that I don't want the bulk of the tag underneath the pictures. So I do trim the top off, and I actually do the same thing for the other tag as well, once I know how long I need it to be. So instead of that doily and where the title goes down in the lower left-hand side, I'm actually going to put it in the lower right-hand side, since I felt like I needed to, well, one, for space reasons, and two, just to kind of balance the page out here. So here before I stick everything down, I'm looping a piece of twine through, and again, for the bulky purpose, I did not want to tie bows, but I didn't want to leave them naked, so I do loop the thread through, and then later on when I'm getting ready to finish up that side of the page, that I do formally, make the loopy loops more prominent here. So here you can see that since it is vellum, that I do go ahead and just put the adhesive on underneath where my photos and embellishments are so far. So I have that side on, and then here I realized when I started putting the adhesive on that I should have waited until I had this bottom portion done so I could put adhesive under uh, these embellishments as well. But in the end, I end up being able to just fold it up and put some adhesive on there so it has is attached better to the page. So just making a little cluster down here. It actually ends up being fairly large, but I just, I'm just trying to use the things, and these are the things that worked out. And I didn't quite leave enough room on that uh, piece here, so I did actually trim off a little bit more, so it was noticeably shorter on both ends rather than just barely getting from side to side of that page. So here's where I start to uh, manipulate the twine here, and I'm using my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. I'm lifting up the vellum and only stapling through the vellum since I do already have a page completed on part of this page. And so since I am documenting my Christmas cactus, that I did take these black and white uh, flowers, which kind of look like the blooms on my Christmas cactus. And so I took my this is the only set of pink paisley inks that I have. I believe I won them at a crop one time. And so I'm using this little felt tool and just kind of dabbing around the edges with the different colors to get some variation on these and make them look like the blooms on my cactus hairs. So that is what I'm working on, and I've got the 4 different colors, and I do end up using all 4. There you can see that I have them drying off to the side and kind of placing them, figuring out where I was going to make them work there. And I do get all 3 of those down right there. And you will get to see a close-up shot here in just a little bit of what those look like. Oh, and I do take my Wink of Stella pen and kind of trace over the middle where the white parts are to just add some additional sparkle to those blooms. So that is going to wrap things up here for us today. I will have links to the playlist of everybody playing along today with Off the Board, and as well as links to my social media accounts if you're interested in pinning or finding any of my projects. That I do put everything eventually out there. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to get things posted on Instagram as well as Pinterest. So thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next time. Bye.